how does narcissistic abuse cause people to feel unlovable? This is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. They feel unworthy, they feel unlovable, all those things. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. What I see with that dynamic is that when you haven't been seen as who you are, you feel as though you've been seen to be used, seen to serve a purpose. That's different than someone really seeing you as who you are and being in the joy of elevating you. That feels like you've been dismissed. And so we have these deep, deep feelings of abandonment, rejection, unworthiness. I watch this with the women that come in my circles, this deep sense of I, who am I? I don't know who I am. Why? Because we grow up being defined by the reflections, right, that we see of others. And when that reflection doesn't hold a consciousness of you and a deep celebration of you, that dismissal is basically like feeling that the diviner consciousness doesn't see you.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so, therefore, if I cannot be seen or heard or respected, I must not be lovable. Something must be wrong with me because I see other people experiencing that exchange of love and that awareness, that beautiful awareness. And so it's an incredible pain when I watch the women come into our circles and do that deep, deep spiritual work. They're holding a profound pain and there's an existential crisis occurring because they haven't felt that innate sense of love for who they are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And what, you kind of touched on this in the last couple of minutes, but like if we go deeper, right, what happens when we feel unlovable? How does this impact our lives?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about one of the women that came into our groups and just this beautiful, beautiful woman. And she said to me early on, Misa, I don't know what it is to be loved. I hear that a lot. It just breaks my heart. It does right now. It makes me teary. I don't know what that feels like, and I don't know what divine love is. I don't know what that is. And she'd grown up, as she describes it, with two narcissistic parents.
Mm.
And everything was about them and not about her. So she was feeling this hopelessness and unempowered as though being loved was unreachable, right? It wasn't available to her. And yet there's this deep inner sense that it must be. I can't be left out of this. And how do I then discover what it means to exist? It really is that existential. If I can't be seen and be loved, do I exist?
Right.
Right? Because you start feeling invisible. And who is the I that is lovable is a really scary question. For those of us that have had love in our homes as we grew up and were in partnerships where we were loved, that's difficult to fathom. But for someone who hasn't experienced it, life and love like that looks like this. I don't know how to, like fog, right? It's out here, but I'm not really part of it. I don't know how to connect with you, with myself, with the divine. And so when they finally decide I must exist, I must have a worthiness somewhere, then you're on track to begin discovery.
Mm.
Then you're on track to be with the question and be in the process of letting that unfold.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yes, I always love how deep you take these topics and absolutely existential, right? When we're asking ourselves the question, who am I? Right? There's a big one, right? That's one of the biggest ones we could ask ourselves. And if we didn't receive, yes, that reflection, that love, that partnership with parents, and like in your example, right, growing up with narcissistic parents, then absolutely a lot of those people might be watching right now and have then gone on to adult relationships that are also with narcissistic people. So for these people who that's just a hard concept to even understand, like how do they right start to create that kind of unshakable self-love?
Yeah. It's here's one of the things that we look at together, and that is that you didn't just feel unloved because something's flawed in you. We're going to start looking at you in a different way. And many, many times, and most of the people I work with are women, they don't even know or see what their own virtues are. They've been so demolished, right? That and so unseen that part of what we do is begin looking at what is it about you that's beautiful, right? What is it about what you enjoy that's beautiful? I'm noticing this beautiful, landscape outside here in the desert, and to be able to look at life and notice what is beautiful and be able to then turn that inwardly and say, uh-huh. So what is it about me? What happens for many of us is our strongest gifts and our greatest abilities, what we love about ourselves, because we do attach to what we enjoy and our pleasure. That's part of how we know what's lovable about us and our virtues and our qualities. If we've been conditioned to look at everybody else's qualities, everybody else's needs, what's important to them, what usually has happened is that we haven't been looking inward at all. And what we are really best at, what we love the most, and our own spiritual gifts, say our ability to be clairvoyant, to really see into other realms, or to see people as they really are, or our clairaudience, to really hear our guidance and intuitive connections through words, through sounds. Those kinds of gifts are often completely buried. And they're so natural to us. When we are using them, we don't even recognize that they're a gift. We just think everybody does that. I'm thinking of my sister-in-law who has always seen auras, and she thought everybody saw auras, right? Like, no, darling, you see auras. Some of us don't see them. Some of us have other gifts. They're so close to who we are, we don't recognize them. So the beginning process to getting to that state of love is being able to start pulling yourself apart gently, like pulling back the curtains and saying, "Whoa, you mean that's a gift? That's an ability? That's something someone appreciates in me?" And hear it, to be with a group of people and to sit with us and hear us say, "Whoa, that is an amazing insight. Thank you for bringing that to us," without fear of being chastised or made wrong or inadequate, made to feel inadequate, like, well, you kind of got it, but you didn't quite yet. There's no criticism in the environment that we're in the environment that our sacred circles create and that women need. Women absolutely need a different reflection so that you begin to have those tiny little threads of connection. And you can say, oh, that is a reflection of me. That's the journey to a place where you can begin to feel a love that endures, what I like to call unshakable love. It is always there.
Mhm.
And you start to have slivers of awakening, little moments of awakening that start building over time.